not delay at all. Okay, so we're picking up where we left off in Flotsam with our colony. It's literal garbage. And where we left off, I believe we've got the last specialist. So I believe we've got everyone here. And where we're at now is we have the mysterious signal. We do have a lot of people who have all been exposed to pollution. So the things we're working on right now that are our focus is one, if I see any pharmacies, we stop by to get the pharmacies so I can get more of the stuff to get rid of pollution. That's one. Because there's a good chance we'll probably have the pollution die for whatever the ending, since that seems to be like the only major threat kind of thing. The other thing is we are working on upgrading all of our houses to their best versions. But otherwise we kind of got like everything done. So this is kind of like rapid city building. Yeah, the way I've been describing it is thematically it's raft, except instead of being a survival crafter, it's a city builder. And so like you have like how heavy your raft is. There is a cap that once it hits you physically can't move, and you can extend it. That's what these things are. But it makes it more costly to move and slower to move. You have like electricity, and you have all sorts of stuff going on. Oh man, my inventory full is starting to fill up again. And I am starting to get to that point where it's going to start getting... I imagine we're going to have like diminishing returns that the more... Ooh, I'm actually out of metal? Wait, really? Looking up there, where is my metal? It's up here somewhere. Or it might not be because I ran out. Alright, so I'm straight up out of metal, so I can't even make the big inventory. Okay. Right, so we need to go this way. Now, we already went through and, like, even though that looks like I haven't looted that, I didn't fully loot it because I don't need furniture anymore. So we're just gonna kind of creep along here real fast. Luckily... Captain, this meal, it's... perfection. Oh, we got our holy mackerel. I totally forgot that's something we were working on. Okay, so we'll take a quick pit stop here. Because that's a source of metal. So go grab all that metal. That's why I don't have any screwdrivers, I understand now. Oh, we can go nab the potatoes from the potato farm. And then there's going to be fish over here. But yeah, so there's a whole lot of, like, collecting your resources, balancing a lot of those. I thought there was, like, 3 sets of fish over here. Oh, no, there is plastic. Oh, we did get seagulls now. And the seagulls do actually very, very slowly collect whatever materials in range nearby you. So it is kind of a passive consumption of that. Alright, so yeah, so we gotta remake our screwdrivers. Because we did use absolutely all of them just ransacking electronics, which is good, because now, like, that's been a bottleneck of ours for most of the game. We finally are getting ahead in that. Let's see, where are we at with the... Yeah, so I still have 500 units of wood junk. That's the reason why I'm deliberately not cutting down trees or any of that anymore. Is I just need them to start working through the wood junk. And then once they collect stuff from there, we'll move on. But yeah, so we're ultimately trying to get to the signal, which is over here somewhere. Oh, it's right there. Okay, so that's where we're trying to get to. Like I said, I'm going to mostly circumvent the polluted area here for right now. We don't have much water in our reserves because we just did a deep dive in there. And then we do have a lot of people who are pretty exposed to pollution that we're just going to need to wait for everyone to start recovering. I've lost track of where our filters are. We do have the bladders. And you can use those to make things way less. Here we go. Okay, so we got the screwdriver. How many of the generators do I have in storage? I have 9. We're not going to grab that. I think literally those generators are just going to sit there. Let's also check. I have 5 solar panels. So there is a good chance I could probably build... I'm missing advanced electronics. What are you missing to make that? Aluminum. And aluminum's hard to come by. That's fine. We're taking a moment to let our people recoup. Get moving on to the next place. There is lake leveling, I think. Captain, our little gobblers have reached maturity. They grow so fast and taste so delicious. That's literally all of these specialist quests are just ending one by one. Yeah, so I've got one specialist quest to find a seagull, and then the mysterious signal, and that's literally all the quests left in the game. I'm assuming to rescue a seagull, I just have to find a seagull. Alright, so let's see. So you finished salvaging that, so we can move on. Getting straight to our left, we got more fish. Yeah, so the question is, yeah, so even if I don't mark it, the seagull will go collect stuff. I really like that. I really want to fill this thing up with seagulls. Because genuinely just not having to queue up, like, go grab that, is wonderful. If I could get them to fish too, that'd be even better. Yeah, so we just need to, like, scooch around here, and it'll get that all going. I'm gonna kind of maneuver to grab, like, the metal and the cars and that kind of stuff as able. Make sure we send to all the boats each time. Yeah, so we got all the fish going we can. Some other things I'll probably want to do is looking at our inventory here. So let's say, don't get more than 100 of any of the fish. Because that'll eventually be a big problem. So I do have 100 right now, the nibblers. But the idea is then that should stop consuming materials. Hey, Earthrush Stone, thank you for the 245 stream streak. I really do appreciate it. It means a heck of a lot, so thanks for that. Does this game have an infinite mode where you play until you lose, or whatever the mode is called? I don't think you realistically have to worry about... Like, you can get yourself into a bad situation where you could lose a bunch of people, certainly. But I don't feel like it's the kind of game that things just escalate until you lose. For all we know, after we finish the main story, you could just keep playing. So think of it like a game like Banished, where... You know, like I said, you don't really lose Banished. I mean, you can. But, like, once you get past that early game where things are stabilized... Usually losing isn't a huge concern. We want the plastic junk. And we do not want the other furniture. We want the metal. Take the plastic. Yeah, plastic's too far. Yeah, so I don't think it's the kind of game where you're just going to hit a certain point and then the game's just going to abruptly be like, game's done, get out. I think what'll happen is you'll stop having new story elements, if that makes sense. And then you can just kind of build the way you want to build. It's kind of like with a game like Raft. You can get to the end of Raft and roll credits, but then you can just kind of boot the game back up and just keep playing. And just keep making your raft whatever you want it to be. Alright. But yeah, and I'm sorry you're not feeling well, Earthrush. Tomb's kind of going through the same thing right now. Just yesterday she started feeling real bad, and she's sick. It happens. But yeah, so it's not like Frostpunk where you have the endless mode where it just keeps escalating more and more, and it does eventually cap out, so you can get it to the point where you can survive forever. But you know, it is a struggle to do so. Right, so we're basically waiting for the fishing to finish as we replenish our water. Okay, do we get enough metal to, Nope. We're working on it, though. Maybe? Why are you not salvaging this? Go swim, maybe? That's fine. Weirdly, they weren't taking the boat out. That's fine. Because I need that metal. Because with the metal, I can get more storage. And we're basically about full. Now, regardless if we just sit here, slowly we should work through our over surplus inventory. You should feel bad that you got beaten Mario Kart by your youngest kiddo. We play versus race each other. I mean, that happens. Yeah, 50% of the guys at work are sick. You'll make it. Hope Toom is good too. Yeah, no, it's the classic, the office flu or whatever, the office cold, whatever people want to call it that day of the week. Where, you know, whatever bug gets into the office, and you know, if people are good, they don't show up for work and they give a chance to get better. But, you know, a lot of places don't have like paid sick time or have a very limited amount of paid sick time or yada yada. So people come to work sick, or they're just workaholics, but people come to work sick and continue the spread. Yeah, I'm watching all the metal show up and just immediately get consumed. All right. So people are recovering slowly. Love to see it. Like, I remember back there was a comic that was the entire crux of the comic was that these two people had the same cold in the office, that neither of them was willing to take time off from work because, you know, they use their sick time as vacation time or whatever. So they would just go back and forth, and the, you know, cold would get its, like, next iteration. They were trading the same cold back and forth. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff wrong with that from a premise on how that all works. You know, 2-3 people is nowhere near a large enough sample size for you to trade the same sickness back and forth. But, you know, it feels that way sometimes. Okay, so you keep fishing. Everyone else just keep doing your thing. Yeah, we keep getting just a little bit of metal in there. And then it's gone again. Just being consumed by all my other production stuff. Which is fine, because all that production stuff means stuff in here gets stockpiled. And then I don't have to worry about it. I got a couple more fish to grab over here. Surprisingly, I'm doing extremely well in my fish supplies. I kind of need to skip the nibblers. The only reason I haven't is I believe the nibblers are ingredients for a lot of the other fish and such. Okay, and this will let me get over here to where we can grab the car. And our inventory is full now. Oh, but if we hurry, we got just enough stuff here to build another storage thing. Hey, Luxray. It's good to have you home. I hope you're, because if I recall, you were having, was it tooth being pulled today or surgery? I remember it was something you had going today. I hope it went smoothly. Your voice is very nice and pleasant background. You can do prefer sleeping? Yeah. Yup. Teeth pulled? Yeah. I hope it went smoothly and it wasn't too rough, because I know that could be... It's like not the worst, but it's definitely not a good time. They broke as they're being pulled out? Yeah, no, it sounds like they had to be pulled out then. Alright, so that is in another polluted area, which isn't really what I'm looking for, but that's okay. So let's snag the mushrooms. There's not many there. For genetic condition, brittle teeth? Gotcha. Sorry to hear that. Hey, Draconic. Thank you so much for the 155 stream streak. I really do appreciate that. Thank you so much for tuning in, not miss a single one, and all that good stuff. Alright, so we're almost at the broadcasting tower. Alright. What are we missing for you again? Right, the aluminum. Right. That's why I can't make our solar panels. I need more aluminum. Which will probably get gobbled up by everything. It's also surprising to me, like, how many things I've got running now to make power, and power still gets kind of dicey. Which I'm going to add more, but I've got, like, the electric eels that kick on at 10%. I've got the wood power here that's almost going perpetually. Actually, I'm going to bump you up to 75%, I think. I'll keep that going. We have the oil, which we run when it's pretty low. Just keeping everything moving. Alright, so you finished with the highway. Can't really go that far before that's done. That should only take a second. It only had like 4 mushrooms. Yeah, 2-week follow-up? Yeah, that makes sense. Where are we at with the mushrooms? Because we need the mushrooms and medicine to be able to make the things for helping against pollution. It's got 1 mask. I need 2 to do an upgrade. You don't see any of the filters. We got 36 mushrooms. So we got plenty of mushrooms. I just don't have the medicine to go with it. Which is a matter of finding pharmacies, and they seem to be pretty rare. Okay, so honestly, I believe you're the fish I already have more than I need of. I'm going to actually skip on those fish. I will grab this stuff, because I can use that. And get them both in the circle. I will grab the one that's over here, because the bottlefish also give me plastic. Goodness. I spent countless late nights drowning in these wires, scaling the mast, connecting the satellites, and keeping the signals humming. There it is, at the top, the radio transmitter. But the whole bottom is flooded. No chance we're getting up that way. We'll have to stack ladders to reach it. I made a giant stack of ladders at the beginning of the game that we have not had use for ever since. Like, we have never ended up using those ladders at any point after I made them. Which suddenly reminds me that they still are technically queued. And I want to just kind of... Well, I mean, they just sit in the inventory. They're only just rope and wood. So that's fine. So you just remember not to drink through a straw, eat really hard food. Yeah, the classics. All right, so we'll scavenge the metal. We're gonna get a lot more electronics and all that, which is good. And then we're gonna get the rooftop broadcast tower, and I believe we'll have to research that. And then we'll see what happens from there. Because we did see in... it wasn't the tech tree, I don't think. Yeah, we do have these where we don't know what we get. But I did see at some point... At some point we got, Oh, was it rocket fuel we saw somewhere? But it was, like, heavily like, okay, we're gonna make rocket at some point. That we did see... that those are things that exist in the game. And so the assumption here is we'll get the signal here, reach the person, and maybe we build a rocket to get out of here or something like that. Or a rocket to, like, fix the planet, or a rocket to let people know where we are. I don't know. We'll have some way a rocket will be relevant to something. And for right now, we can just sit here. We just want the metal. We want this. Meanwhile, our seagull is just piece by piece bringing back plastic. I do imagine once you get like 4 seagulls or so, or 5 seagulls, they probably do a really good job. Because it's just like one piece at a time. But still, that's one piece at a time so long as stuff's in range, which is just a nice little flow. They don't stop, like, ever that I've noticed. And you just need bird chow for them. Wait, you're running? You shouldn't be running. I have it set to 100 limit. You got 180. Alright, just prepare for overfilled inventory again, because my greed is insatiable. And our water's just about maxed out. So if we gotta do another pollution dive, we should be in relatively good shape. And it does seem like the way this game works is vaguely always when it spawns, like, the next person to find, they're farther this way. So I do think the game, like, is an infinite world, but it's an infinite world that just keeps going one direction. So you've got, like, this narrow run that you're stuck on. Hey, Strider, you already used that joke yesterday, man. But thank you for the 165 stream streak. I really do appreciate it. But yeah, you literally used that exact same joke yesterday. Alright. Yes, that's it. That's a transmitter. Let's use this beast to upgrade the radio station. Which is here somewhere. That's... There it is. No, it isn't. Where is my radio station? No, I didn't delete it or anything. Because it wouldn't be able to continue to... There it is! Alright. Little twist here, swap those two wires, kick the amplifier, and... Greetings from its literal garbage, receiving your signal loud and clear. Whom am I speaking to? Thank the stars. My name is Stella. I was researching fusion power when I lost contact with Mission Control. But I've never heard of its literal garbage. That's because we built it. We just started, we started with a tugboat and trash, and now our whole community. Ripper. How do you power it? Is the salt water an effective conductor? Oh, I'm rambling. Are you from the continent? There's a continent? We've only seen ocean and scraps of land. How do we get there? I can see it from up here. I can help calculate a route, but first, I would need to triangulate your position. Sail close to a few large metal structures, pylons, factories, shipwrecks. I'll bounce your signal off them to pinpoint where you are. There's a pylon on the horizon. We could use it as a starting point. Over there! Okay, that's easy enough. Alright, before we do that, let's get that level real fast. Like, honestly, other than stopping for metal, like one or two other specifically good materials, we don't need the little fish. Mozzie leaning towards just kind of gunning it over there. So just let our seagull buddy do their little seagull buddy things and collect plastic. And just full send it. Oh, sounds like Tomb's up. If you are the only strong signal, shouldn't she be able to know exactly where you are? It's a video game. There doesn't need to be more, it's a video game. Take all real-life logic, and go ahead and throw it in the bin. Okay, so there's some metal here. We do want to stop briefly for that. Then go here. Collect the metal, please. And while they're doing that, there's two sets of fish over here that aren't the fish I've got too much of. Feel free to grab that firewood. It's like literally right next to you. I don't need the wood. I've got tons. I don't need to waste wood or waste metal getting wood because, again, got tons of wood, hurting on metal. You need multiple transmitters and receivers to triangulate position. Best you could do is the direction you are. Yeah, because normally the way you're triangulating position is, well, no, I'd be curious about that actually, Draconic, because if we are the source of the signal, well, no, because you'd be able to tell how far from her we are. But yeah, she wouldn't be able to really tell necessarily the direction, like what cardinal direction our signal's coming from necessarily. There could be ways, depending on what equipment she has. But yeah, no, you're not wrong that normally the way you triangulate position, as it says with triangulators, you need 3 different points of reference. That the idea is, with 3 points of reference, I can look at and go, okay, I have this point, you're 50 meters from that, I have that point, I'm 72 meters from that, and I have this point, and I'm 105 meters from that. There's only one point that should satisfy all 3 of those, and that's triangulating. Versus when you have 2 points, and you go, okay, well, I'm 50 meters from that, it can be like a whole area that you can fall in. Remote triangulation between the transmitter and her and us. Well, there isn't a third source. There's her and us. We don't have a third one. We took the antenna off of the thing to make our antenna. Therefore, the previous antenna is no longer up. So we've only got 2 points of reference until we start, you know, going to things. Still, the real answer is it's a video game. Therefore, realism and logic need not apply. Alright, so we got those. I'm not actually worried about getting the seaweed. I don't even know if we actually finished getting the fish. Yeah, we did. I would like to get that, because that can reveal the area and maybe we see something worthwhile. It usually takes one person just going there for a minute, and... yeah, so just waiting for them to check that out. Yeah, so you can see, like, there's solar panels in there. There's actually looks like 3 separate solar panel places in there. Okay, that's the pylon it wants us to go to. That's another polluted area. Let's see if we can't get nearby it without actually going into the polluted area. If we have to, that's fine. I've got supplies. Ooh, 2 pharmacies. Alright, heck yeah, that's extremely good. And this area over here is 3 pharmacies. Never mind, this is amazing is what this is. I think that's in range. Okay. So, give me the medicine. I don't care about the firewood and all that. Give me the metal. Survey the surrounding area and give me the plastic. Give me the more medicine. We don't care about the trees there. Give me the plastic and the electronics. Give me the more medicine. Alright. Oh, we got a rural ruin behind us. Give me your plastic. Gotcha. Well, you have fun with Space Engineers. I do know you were a big fan of the series. Well, I mean, big fan of the game. Calling it a series when there's the second one, it's still like super early access. Feels a little weird. Okay. Yeah, so we're waiting here for air filters and sleep regulators. Let's make sure with those. Let's put limiters on all of that. So where are you on my list? Yeah, so this is what I was talking about, where we see like spaceship framework, rocket fuel. So we've seen all these down here. Yeah, let's make it so no more than 4 of either of those. Alright. So with that, we can go to you. So you've got the highest buildup. You're gonna go to house. You go ahead and upgrade your house since I'm sitting right here. And when that's done, we'll worry about adding the extra stuff. You're not touching SE2 or Space Engineer 2 until it has more substance? Yeah. I think it's a mistake a lot of devs who had a successful early access launch previously in their history that a lot of them release a game in kind of the same state that their first early access game was when it first released. And I don't think they kind of realize that, you know, you can look at it and be like, but remember when this is early access and it was rough too? It's like, right. But then, you know, the counter argument I would give is it also exists in a universe where that game now exists. The better version of the game, like the more complete version of the game, so it's no longer filling a niche that no one's filling. It's literally just a nicer looking, but objectively not as good version of the thing they've already got. And I feel like that's the thing that bit a lot of games and got a lot of games caught by surprise, like the Kerbal Space Programs, the Space Engineers, the City Skylines, and all these. Now, granted, some of them have come back relatively well, and others have done the opposite of that and imploded. It doesn't have as mods. Yeah, that doesn't mean that much to me personally. I know it does mean a lot to other people, which is totally fair and valid. But for me, like, the reason I had held off on it was, one, I didn't get a key, and I'm like, man, from everything I've seen, this game, you know, feels like it's very much Space Engineers when it first dropped, but, like, a little prettier. I'm gonna hold off and wait and see. Your mods or your Valhalla? That is an interesting concern take. I'm very much the kind of person who, usually I like the games to be kind of as close to the developer's vision as possible, and then, you know, I'll mod from there. So it tends to be a lot more like UI quality of life stuff than, you know, overhaul mods and that kind of thing. Not that I've not done that. The only game I can think of off the top of my head I did a decent number of overhaul mods was Terraria. Like, Terraria had some really well done overhaul mods between stuff like Calamity and all that. You know, and you're just itching for more content, but there was no more. And thank you, Ron Gore, for the 135 stream streak. Catch the last 135 streams, not miss a single one. So, means a whole heck of a lot, and thank you. But yeah. Versus, like, and I did that with Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley, I enjoyed doing kind of like the overhaul mods a bit, but I will definitely say they were more mixed bagged. Like, they were good, to be clear. They were good. But it was also one of those things that they had some pretty bad breaking bugs and all that I ran into that, you know, we literally had, like, a game get soft-locked by the overhaul mod and all that, which is a big part of why I tend to avoid those. Because to me, it very genuinely ruins a game for me when I invested a lot of time in a playthrough, and then I just straight up get soft-locked because some mod had a bug in it or whatever. Alright. Can I reach you without actually dipping into the polluted water? It says move close to. There is a fair chance that I might literally just have to take the boat over there. If I do, it's not a big deal. Like, we're more than able. But I'm seeing if my boat going over there will count. If that is the case, I'll just quickly turn off my water production so I'm not dumping pollution out all over myself. I think literally I'm going to have to go to it, just seeing the way this is working. Alright, so our water is completely maxed out, so I'm going to grab these and turn off my water production. Because otherwise, if they start boiling the polluted water, then our people start getting sick. Signal locked at starting point. Other locations in sight. I've marked them on the map. 1 second. I do want those mushrooms. Those are what we're using to make our filters to protect us against the pollution. Okay, so Brick already has that. There's an air filter for you. But as you can see, we're adding these filters to everyone's buildings, and those will cause it to slowly reduce the pollution people have been, like how much collective pollution they've got as they sleep. I still won't be able to like stay in the pollution long term and not have issues. Okay, and as soon as we get that, we can move on to the next one. So I've got one tower here, and one there. So those shouldn't be bad. We can just go up and around this way and then circle back. Yeah, so we'll only lose maybe 10, 20 water before it goes. Let's see, though to you, your mod depend on the game. Like Skyrim, you use mods to fit the theme of the game, with town and city mods that are actually depict Scandinavian influence. Or the wealth of settlement, from the Nordic-themed weapons to armor and quest things. Fallout 4, you go with lore-accurate weapon armor mods, and settlement building mods, like Sims 2 settlements. I was trying to think in my head, it's like, lore-accurate with Fallout. I'm like, okay, I mean, it's kind of, like, Fallout gets very silly at times. I don't mean that in a bad way. Fallout just could be a very silly game. I mean, I spent that. I didn't mean to. I say that as someone who's a big fan of Fallout, by the way. Who has played pretty much all of the Fallouts. The only thing I need to do is I haven't caught up on all the new stuff. Specifically World War II style weapons. Right, but the Fallout 2 universe, they never came out with the microchip and all that. So, like, it's literally an alternative history one where I'm pretty sure World War II... Ooh, I'm trying to remember where they cut off. Because there's a deviation in history in the Fallout universe where I want to say, oh man, I'm trying to remember if, like, World War II didn't happen. And so with the absence of that, it led the China and America coming to blows over resource wars. I'm trying to remember where the split in the alternate history. Deviation was after World War I. That's what I thought, is that World War II just doesn't happen in the Fallout universe. That's kind of the idea, is that World War... Oh, World War II? Gotcha. Okay. I was trying to remember. It's been a hot minute since I've dug into the lore. Because I knew it was around World War II, is somewhere where the split is, that basically... instead of the escalation with the Cold War and all that, and then some of the proxy stuff, that doesn't occur. And as an alternative, there's this resource run and everything that eventually leads us to a resource war. And then, you know, eventually that escalates into the bombs being dropped. And there's a whole bunch of, like, when I say conspiracy, I'm not talking, like, it's in canon conspiracy, like, actual conspiracies that happen in that universe that go into all that, but I won't say any more details on that because spoilers. But you know, lot of stuff to unpack and all that. Right, so we need to get next to this tower as well. I will tell them to collect the goods though. So the water turned off, right? Yeah, so I could just go for it. I should have turned that back on when it got back in the middle. There's this position. Nice, another location locked in. So immediately pop back out of here. And in the meantime, I'll turn back on my water. But yeah, for me having like accurate depictions of time where it's like, okay, making sure you've got like a Sig Mauser or whatever, it's like I don't really care. Which we won't get into the gun conversation. We'll just make that a hard no topic for right now. Because that always becomes a whole big thing about people getting way too into guns. Alright. But yeah, it's also like, even outside of that, it's kind of like with like Kenshi and all that. You know, people want to add like a whole bunch of weapons. It's like, it just makes sense in the world, and that's totally fine and valid. But also, usually when you get into a lot of that stuff, the balance just goes right out the window because, you know, in that one we'd be talking like swords and all that, and someone will be like, oh yeah, well, it's this style sword that came out of, you know, this era Japan or whatever, and then it's just like hands down stats are better than literally everything else in the game. They're like, it's balanced. The one that, what was it? Aw, man. There was one mod, I'm trying to remember, it was for RimWorld, that it added this, like, I can't remember what the gun was. It was like a Gatling gun that you could carry on your person. And the mod, like, the mod description was like balanced to, to be in line with vanilla or whatever verbiage they used. But when you actually looked up the stats of it, it had the accuracy of a sniper rifle, or no, it was the range of a sniper rifle with like the accuracy of like a bolt action, but like the damage of an assault rifle and the fire speed of like just a hair slower than the minigun. And you're like, what do you mean balanced? They're like, yeah, it takes a whole extra component. And you're like, what? The problem isn't the component cost for balance. Sure, it is arguably a slightly expensive weapon. It also just straight up, you know, one or two people with it's like literally the time it takes them to the aim is the only thing that makes it not just better in literally every other way from that. Because the range was absurd, the fire rate was absurd, the damage was absurd, everything about the weapon was absurd. But like, yeah, but you know, instead of whatever it is, like 6 components for a minigun, it's 7 components to make it. And you're like, and you think that's balanced? Like, even kind of? You like that Raj from Coral Island came and worked on your floating island? And just mentally that's what you imagine? That character has your dapper surfer voice? Yeah, no, it's, I mix up my voices pretty badly when I'm trying to, like, do a bunch of different voices. I'm deliberately not grabbing the eels, even though I can make more eel generators. I'd rather not get into the thing where I'm just endlessly making those. But yeah, so it sounds like we're gonna find the continent and all that. But yeah, there's definitely some of those voices that go together. I also, like, lose track with a bunch of voices. Also, check out Allison Adventures' fantastic content career. Playing some Minecraft recently. Nice. But does play like a whole range of games on their channel. Been doing like Vintage Story and Minecraft and, you know, Project Zomboid, RimWorld, all that kind of stuff. So if you like any of that, which I assume you do if you're probably here, you can find it all over there. Alright, so now I just need to get near this tower. Another ping secured. Triangulation complete. Let's see where you are. Huh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh? Between you and the continent is a polluted stream. A current of pure toxic pollution. The smog alone makes it completely impassable unless you build an ozone shield strong enough to protect your entire town. However, continuously running an ozone over long distances, you'll need to generate as much energy as a dwarf star. That's gonna be difficult. But not impossible. My research into fusion was too late to stop the floods, but I got 1 fusion reactor built, 1 powering my ship. Wait, you have an infinite energy source all this time? Well, yes, that's how I maintain a habitable environment. But the rest of the crew took the return shuttle when the first floods hit. I stayed behind. So you're saying we gotta build a spaceship now? With my help. I'm using the triangulation to send you to my old cargo capsule. I'm using the triangulation to send my old cargo capsule down. It's not suitable for manned flight, but will be perfect for base resources for construction. Please retrieve it. Alright. Meanwhile, real fast, I'm just going to go right here. And if you could just give me all your goodies. there anything else you want to grab right while I'm here? Plastic, 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 plastic. There is aluminum over there. So I can take a moment since we're already in this garbage. I'm going to pop on through here real fast. I'm going to tell them to strip the truck. But more importantly, get all that... Get all that aluminum. Please tell me I've got what I need to make more hammers. Yeah, I got plenty. Because that aluminum is a big, like, hard to get a hold of resource. With a spaceship, couldn't you just ferry people to the continent? I mean, that could easily be hand-waved being like, okay, but only a couple people could go on the spaceship. Versus, you know, we've got dozens of people on here. Because even real-life spaceships, usually the number of crew you have is, you know, low single digits. Because every pound you add onto your payload in a spaceship massively increases the cost and the size of the spaceship required to do it. It's one of the big, hard to overcome limitations of rocketry. There's an actual term for it, why it, like, the whole exponential growth in required materials. Rocketry. Okay, so I'm also going to want to go over here, so there's another aluminum there. Looks like there's also more pharmaceuticals up here. We also have a seagull up there, so we can rescue the seagull. Don't need to retrieve that. My assumption is that we're supposed to build it here because there's like this weird pocket of fresh water surrounded by relatively good resources. Now, it's also possible we are going to be building the spaceship platform on our actual raft. We might also be able to, while we're sitting here... Right, so we're getting that other stuff now. Oh, and I have enough filters to add filters to another house. Seeing if we could find any of these houses that don't already have... Alright, so we're just going to go through clicking. We're looking to see if any of them don't already have an air filter. There we go. So it looks like I might have one. Yeah, that one down there is the only one that's missing an air filter. Yeah, I would still say even having higher requirements still makes it unbalanced, because honestly, fulfilling the requirements isn't that big a deal. It'd be more than the one component. That I will say, that one component increased cost that the person was like, it's balanced. Like, what are you on, man? Like, that is a minimal expense. And granted, that was before Odyssey, but even before Odyssey, as long as you were mindful of your components, you could keep them stocked pretty easily. If you didn't pay attention to your components got low, it could get kind of rough, but... I'm not seeing the salvage boats out. Okay, but you are actively salvaged. I think it's just down to the last person. Yeah, so you should be working on the aluminum. Alright. So with that, let's go ahead and get out of here. Now grab her thing here. And then there's another aluminum spot up here that we want. Because aluminum is probably the rarest resource we've seen so far. Meanwhile, while we wait, turn these back on. There you are. That capsule hit the water like a nibbler in a blender. They'll need to piece it back together. I've added the recipes to the scrapsmith. Alright. Build a spaceship launch pad. Research a spaceship launch pad. Okay. So let's go ahead and get that research going real quick. And Mohan Ryan, they're 290 stream streaks, catching the last 290 streams without missing a single one. So thank you so much for that. Do appreciate it. Let's get over here where we can get more metal and more aluminum. Yeah, that should be enough. And we shouldn't have to worry about pulling polluted water in there yet. We'll grab those, though. But more importantly, more aluminum. And we also have the car wreck over here for more metal. Okay, so I need them to make even more demolition hammers. It'll take a hot minute for that to happen. Because that's just plastic and other stuff. Which has been funny, this whole game I've had no problem getting those hammers. And then suddenly, like, the hammers have recently become a thing that I actually am having to worry about. There we go. Ooh, that's some research there. Yeah, so we're gonna build a rocket platform, and then I assume we're gonna make the shield thing. After which I assume it's stabilize everything and then make our way for the continent. Now the question is, will it actually be the continent thing? Or will it be like the make your way across thing and you go to a point and then cinematic it? Since, like I said, it does seem to be like an infinite world growing in a direction. I could see them not having you actually do the trip. If it's a fusion generator, the assumption is it could just run and you would just not have to worry. Meanwhile, do we have... Yep. Get our next solar panel built. And that'll be that much more I don't depend on from non-renewable power. Okay, and grab you. And that's our solar power on the grid. Okay. Alright, give me the axes, give me the metal. Alright, so right now we're producing the framework, which is already happening here. It's just taking time because of a backlog of stuff to be produced. That's fine. We'll just keep on grabbing metal, make it happen. We don't really care about this stuff, I don't think. So I'm just going to beeline across this. I'm probably not going to worry about the turning off the water production. But beeline across this, start grabbing all the pharmaceuticals. We'll grab the seagull and all that. Because I just need metal. And honestly, I don't see a reason to do one thing over the other. But they should slowly get all that material put together. And you're starting to build up quite a bit of pollution on you. All right, all of our cottages. That's the last one that needed upgraded. Every single one of them is now the comfy houses. There'll be less of a burden on those materials, which will be good. Okay. What's this game like, please? If you think thematically of Raft, it's like that, except instead of being a survival crafter, it's a colony builder. But you kind of go around from place to place, scout, salvaging materials to make your colony on it. But it's a colony builder. It's just the source of your materials instead of, cut down tree, dig up iron, that kind of thing. You're instead going from ruin to ruin, looking for the materials. So let's go over here. And fishing and all that. So it has those things that, like, early game, I mean, even now, certain materials are, when I say limited, they're not actually limited, but they're limited where you are. So you have to move around to keep getting materials. So it does a pretty good job of giving you a valid reason to go around the map and do things. Which is something that's missing from a lot of games in, like, the colony builder and all that stuff. Put in a lot of hours. We're at around 20 hours. There's got all our solar panels upgraded, so we've reduced their weight as much as we can. Always just letting them work. Well, I don't want to hit these pharmacies for all that. But yeah, we are late game. Like, I think we're working on now the end game scenario. I also want to go up here to free the seagull. That's a lot. When is this released? So it released into early access quite a while ago, but it did get its 1.0 release in this last week. So as far as a completed product, it's fairly recent, but it has been around in early access for a pretty long time. Okay. Alright, so he fully fished up the marker. I know I've still got my water stuff running. I'm just trying to beeline across the pollution. Okay, so with that, give me the plastic and the electronics. I don't want the wood furniture. Give me the medicine and the bio waste. Plastic and electronics. I don't want to chop down those trees. I have plenty of wood. Don't care about the wood over there, really. That's all out of range right now. Go and grab those fish. Food and bio waste. Okay. And that medicine will slowly help us get more and more of the pollution stuff handled. Because now we're going to be able to stack both the masks and the filters. Go a long way for helping a lot of stuff. Alright, how are you doing on the spaceship parts? You're getting it done. That's good. We'll definitely need to seek out more aluminum, which is going to be more diving different ruins and whatnot, which is fine. Yeah, so just got the one ruin down there. At least I think this is the only one that's missing the air filters. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure every single one of these houses has the air filters otherwise. Yeah, so I'm just missing the air filters in that house, and then it's respirators after that. And then there'll be nothing more I can do to mitigate pollution in that moment, which is fine. Yeah, so we're building all the frameworks. And like I said, I want to keep diving to try and get the aluminum since that's the material we're hurting on. Okay, is that everything? All right. Okay. So I can go up ahead. Give me the plastic furniture. I'll leave it alone. Give me the medicine. Rescue the seagull. Give me the seagull droppings. Grab that plastic. The seagulls automatically grab like plastic and stuff out of the water for me, which makes my life easier. Wait, do we not scout? I feel like that the scout didn't get done. It did not. Glad I double checked. The scouting will probably reveal the area up here and let me spot where we do have aluminum and metal to go after in here. Because that's polluted water, so we don't want to spend more time in there than we really need to. Alright. So we can make you lighter, give you your air filter fully maxed, give you your sleep respirator. Just keep on building.
They are now our flock, our students. They see this town and do not flee. It is a sign of respect. You've earned their trust and mine. I am now among peers, Captain Sensei.
Okay, so that was literally the last of the specialist quests, so we only have the main story quest left. But all we're doing with that is getting the seagulls and having them grab stuff for me. And just building more and more upgrades for everything. Okay, so we've got that. I scooch up here. I can get both the metal from the cars in range and the aluminum place in range. I just have to wait for us to make some more tools. Then we might be able to scooch up here, and I think that's going to be the thing that reveals this whole area. Yeah, so I need 9 tools, and we're going to slowly craft those. I do have the plastic and the wood, so that should be fine. Then the seagulls are bringing me more. So that's also good. There we go, we're just going to grab that aluminum. I don't really care about that. The oil power's not been that important for us. I'd rather just keep getting solar, because that just, it's low effort. You put it down, it doesn't give you a lot of power, but it gives you power forever without a fuel cost. Okay, and you are still popping off. How are we doing? Okay, so you're working on getting those last 2 rocket parts done. We are still working on... No, actually, we have researched the space program. So let's go ahead and get that done. So you need... Okay, so we literally just need to wait for those last 2 spaceship frames to go, and that would be good. I imagine this thing is going to be non-small. I also imagine trying to launch a rocket off of a moving platform is probably not great. Okay, so you're maxed. There's your upgrades. There's your upgrades. That's fine. Just waiting on all that stuff for a minute. Yeah, so you're bringing back the metal scrap. Yep, we're just singing it with the seagulls, just doing lap after lap, bringing me my plastic. So let's actually go here. So far as filters go, for right now, don't bring me wet wood. The others are fine. It's actually fine. Turn that back on. We don't see enough wet wood to matter. Okay. So pretty soon we should have the last of the metal out. They have more food than I know what to do with. Yeah, so we're grabbing the last of the aluminum. And we now have what I need to make the launch pad. And that'll be another objective. My assumption from here is I'll have to get rocket fuel. Because there'll be probably something renewable we have to do with that launch pad. Because it'd be weird for it to be a one and done kind of thing. Yeah, and we're using up the aluminum pretty much as fast as we're getting it. And we're using it, making all these things that make my buildings lighter. Which is fine. Because we are struggling a bit with the weight of the raft. It just keeps us thinking.
We got the spaceship launch pad. Now we just need a guidance system to safely land and life support for obvious reasons. Then there's the heat shield so the shuttle doesn't burn up on re-entry, plus the cold storage to keep the fusion core itself stable. And of course, you can't launch a rocket without a booster and fuel to power them. Oh, stars, that's a lot. Stella, breathe, we've got this, step by step. It's not rocket science. Wait. You truly are my favorite Earthlings.
Oh, that's actually not something I need there. Right, so... Build a spaceship fabricator. Okay. So we got a new building to build. Alright, so what's going to need to happen here... is you need to go to the advanced materials thing. And I'm going to need to tell you to stop it. Don't do it. I need those materials now. No, wait, I need these materials. That's fine. You keep doing your thing. What I need to do is go to whichever building I am making this and stop that. Because I'll need those materials for other things than just making this lighter, which I figure is going to be the case sooner or later. But I figured I'd just let it keep working until we hit the point that I needed it for other stuff. Okay, in the meantime, we have grabbed all the aluminum here. Alright. Just gonna pop over here real fast. Survey the surrounding area and give me the metal. Give me the metal. And we're just gonna have to find more aluminum. Because I'll need... I mean, actually, I just need the metal. I don't even need the aluminum. I did manage to pause it in time. So I need a spaceship fabricator, which is gonna have a pretty significant cost from power standpoint. Which we'll have to figure out because I don't actually have a power pole near here, I don't think.
Captain, we spotted signs of life. There might be a survivor over there. Alright, I've marked it on your map.
which I will promptly ignore. Okay, so we got these two being looted. We got aluminum over there. Got metal over here. Alright, from the looks of it, I got quite a few options. We got aluminum down there, which I already looted, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so I got aluminum over here, and I've got aluminum over there. We got a couple opportunities to grab metal there. We could just scooch around the outside. I don't need to cut through the middle here. There's not a whole lot I care about in there. But we'll just keep that going for the time being. Now we're just kind of waiting for that little bit of metal to come on in. Because we can get that metal, we'll get ourselves sorted. Because we're getting the scrap metal, we're just shooting it up real quick. Yeah, so then the assumption here is I'm going to build this, and then we're going to have to make the various parts. The good news is I only need, looks like, one of each part. I'm assuming we're going to end up having even more to produce, but that's fine. Okay, so you're going to grab the last of the metal out of there, and then we scoot around and we snag the aluminum here and the plastic there. We'll skip the person. I've already got more than enough people that getting more people really doesn't help me. It just adds more mouths to feed and water to deal with. Okay, just need one more plettle. Get one more plettle and we'll be good. I think they're making it right now, right here. Yep. And then with that, we'll be able to get the spaceship fabricator, which again, I'm going to assume is going to be a lot of aluminum, because that's what it'd be in real life, because you got to keep your materials as light as possible. So I do have a power pole right there. So it might be one of those things I just need to put like one, maybe two more power poles to bridge the power over here. Which we'll hopefully get here in a second, because they do have a decent amount of scrap metal on us. Just gobbling it up as fast as it's coming in. Spaceship fabricators ready? Spaceship building starts now. Check out some of the workshops. I've added a few recipes we'll need. For the guidance system, we'll need a cockpit interface, and we've added advanced electrocrafter things. The space shuttle requires food and will need to be tightly packed. I've added space meal to the fryer recipe. Oh, and the regular oil won't cut it. We'll need rocket fuel, and I've added that to the oil refinery. Yep. So I just need you to quickly make that happen. So we're going to start sneaking our way around here. Go for that next source of metal and aluminum. Okay. So let's get this all going. Got the fish back here. They can work. The seagulls can work on that plastic. Grab all that plastic furniture and everything. And down this way should be the aluminum warehouse or whatever it was. I'll take care of that. I'll go ahead and have them fish these up as well. Alright. So, next move is... I'm still waiting for the next unit of metal to come in. We've got that going. Just working on refining stuff. I think it's some of these buildings are just getting backed up because of all the aluminum and everything else going on. So it's just taking time. With that said, I mentioned I will need a cockpit. I want one. We will need rocket fuel. which we'll get there. Okay, so you need a guidance system. You need life support. Need this. Need that. Need this. So you need 5 fuel. 1 cockpit. So go here. I want 5 fuel. We'll need medical fluid. That sucks. Okay, so with the medical fluid being in need, I need to go to you. Or no, where is it? Where's the masks made? I need to go to you. You're no longer making those or those. We need the coolant. That's probably the chemist, which is up here somewhere. All right. That actually looks like that'll be pretty easy. Oh, it looks like I've already been making... Yeah, I've already been making coolant, so that's good news. For the heat shield, that's just materials we get anyways. So we need space meals. And for this to work, we need 4 space meals. That's fine, so we can go over here to the fryer. So space meals 1, 2, 3, 4, which do weirdly require aluminum. That's another one that's going to be hurting for flour. Which actually, now I think about it, didn't I start... well, no, I don't have spare flour. Alright, so we got a bunch of stuff happening there. We still don't have spare metal. Yeah, so I got a lot of salvaging we're gonna have to do to make this happen. The good news is this being on here shouldn't be a problem. We're just gonna have to keep up with a lot of that. That's fine. And it does mean our people are getting exposed to a lot of pollution, and we're going to have to keep exposing them to pollution to get what I need. Oh, it's becoming the plettle. That's what's happening to all that metal scrap, which is fine because it's also need to become the Plastech. Yep, so this is just going to keep churning away. That's fine. All those are going to be things that we need. So it's not hurting me in any way to keep them all running. Okay. All the materials we're getting from this spot. Okay, give me the potatoes. And I do not want the actual survivor person. We've got the car over here. So go smash that up. And give me all those goodies. Meanwhile, that's a lot of plastic and metal scrap. I probably do want that. No, I mean... we have the water. Let's turn off our water production for a minute. And turn on in here. You can pop over here. Grab me all that plastic and metal scrap. Grab me all that stuff too. Alright, so people are starting to get pretty built up on their pollution. Not super dangerously so. but enough that pretty soon we're going to have to not be in the middle of it. And as I mentioned, we're probably going to want to work over there. There's another place with aluminum, and probably snag more metal and plastic from those two as well. I need to fully go for it. The big thing we're going to have to do is find a another like ruin to grab solar panels and all that. But in the meantime, we just keep building. And little by little, everything gets handled. Did you already build your cockpit? I have no idea. There's so much stuff up here. It's like visual noise at this point. You can't really keep track of what's even in there. All right. Yeah, and you're continuing to make the flour. And it's weird that the food requires aluminum. That is a very strange thing to me. But that's okay. The good news is the ingredients for it aren't too hard to come by. So it's pretty much just waiting for the flour to get here. And then we should be in good order. It's packaging, I guess. I guess. But it's still, even for that, it's like, wait, aluminum? Oh, I don't fit. We'll have to go around. That's fine, we'll do that in a minute. Who needs aluminum so you can make canned sardines? It's basically what it is. It's flour, fish, and aluminum. So we're like breading fish and then canning it, which sounds... I can't imagine that would come out anything but cursed on the other side. You just have fish and globs of breading. Sounds legit. So you could probably make it taste good. The texture would certainly be offensive, though. There's a lot of stuff like that the taste can be good because you seasoned it up right, but then you're just like, man, it's moosh. It's just weird moosh. Muscle has contracted a disease. I was not watching. That is our first disease. It increases the amount of consumption they have. Alright. Well, I didn't want to make medicine because that requires ingredients I need for other stuff, but I will need... Oh, I mean, that's a really cheap one. We'll make some muscle mouths medicine. It's taking so long to deplete those ruins. Yeah, so once we make the medicine, somewhere on here, there you are, I've got the pod that we can help muscle. Okay, so you made the medicine. It is in storage. Oh, that's real fast. Okay, so the punishment for disease is pretty negligible. Okay. Alright, in the meantime, let's go ahead and turn back on water production since we're not over the pollution anymore. Okay, we now actually have spare metal. So with that, I should be able to go here. Alright, so we're getting our cooling storage and our guidance system are already getting built. The life support is just waiting on medicine, you're just waiting on solar panels, and you are waiting on rocket fuel. And the rocket fuel is waiting on bioacid, and the bioacid is waiting on bio-waste. And the bio-waste is over here, is waiting on seaweed. Do I have anything we have an incredible abundance in crops? No. So basically, the answer is I need even more seaweed. That the copious amounts of seaweed I am already producing are inadequate for my current needs. We are producing a lot of seaweed. But that's fine, because we can always produce more. Alright, we can go up ahead and snag the axes. I don't care about the rest, but free axes are free axes. It's metal I don't have to use later. Part of me also wishes, once you got far enough in the game, you could just be like, yo, just auto-level them. I don't even care where you put the points anymore, just shove them wherever. There's a certain point where it stops mattering for all intents and purposes. Okay, so we ramped up our seaweed production to be even more, which should help us get more bioacid, which should help us make a bunch of things. In the meantime, we'll start circling around. Okay. None of the boats are going. I didn't accidentally set for them to swim, did I? No. Oh, you already got the axes. Oh yeah, I want the metal. Okay. So what we could do here real fast is we're gonna once again turn off the power on the water. And then with that, we're just gonna dive on in here. Oh good, there's a pocket of not dirty water in here. So don't care about the firewood. Give me the electronics. Scout the area. Do that. Get the fish. Give me all that metal and gas. Give me the mushrooms. And I got more fish kind of back right from the boat. Give me the other fish. Oh. We pop over here. Again, give me the mushrooms. Alright, care about the dead trees. Weird that that one, like, queued and unqueued. Watch there have been an achievement if I could get through a whole playthrough without getting a single disease. And that one moment of not paying attention cost it for me. Actually, I haven't noticed. Is there even achievements for this game? I have not paid attention. Oh, yeah. Alright, well, let's see on the list of achievements. Okay, so there's just... Yeah, there's nothing like that. There's just a whole bunch of, The only achievement is, like, having no one die through a playthrough. That's the only one that you can, like, lose and not be able to come back from. Which is pretty standard for a lot of these kind of games, have an achievement of that nature. Okay, so you got that. Let's scooch on over here and start beelining out towards the edge here. I think that's far enough out that we're no longer in the polluted water. We'll know if I turn these things on and big purple clouds start spewing forth. Cool. Meanwhile, install the guidance system. There, that should be enough knobs and switches to control the shuttle's descent. I hope their big and chunky click when I flip them. Cold storage. That is brisk. Minus 140 degrees Celsius. The colder the better. You can't have a fusion core melting down in the middle of flight. Alright. Yeah, so we're looking for pharmacies. That's just going to happen on its own eventually. And thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, that's just going to happen on its own eventually. We just need... We need the bio-waste production to keep going, which means more seaweed. And luckily, seaweed's one of those things that you build it and then there's no more effort involved. So, if we're not making enough seaweed, we just build another thing that makes seaweed. And you keep repeating until you have more than you need. Yeah, so it's seaweed. It's basically the seaweed, the solar panels, and the medical. So we need to go to like the aluminum ruins. Sorry, the regular city ruins, pharmacy, and then the last one. We're just basically waiting. That shouldn't be too bad. I paused the other things that were consuming our medicine. So we can grab that aluminum there and grab the metal here. But then we're looking for like full-on city ruins. Which I'm not seeing anywhere immediately, but that's fine. I guess in the meantime... There's that fish and there's another one up here. Yeah, because you're working on that. Alright. Yeah, I know we had city... Well, that was also... That's not the right type of ruins. Yeah, the ruins I'd be looking for if we went back, which I don't think is the right answer. But if we went back, it would be this kind. But I already hit a bunch of that. So we could figure it out there. But for the moment, we just gotta park here. Let them grab the stuff. We'll pop over here, grab these two. Now once we grab those two, we can see, like, just start working our way west and hope we find some. And how are we doing so far as clearing this? You got everything we care about. Okay. That's some more fish. We'll let you quickly finish that. Actually, do we need to finish that? Oh, I guess I don't need those fish that bad. Like, grab them if it's convenient, but otherwise no need to go out of my way for them. So let's... While we're sitting right here, Grab me those mushrooms. Grab me those fish. Don't care about the firewood. Are we doing good in those fish? The nibblers? We can use some nibblers. Okay. So, shouldn't take long before we grab that, and then we can grab these two. I'll try exploring those towers, because if we explore these towers, they'll reveal whole areas. We might find, like, a pharmacy tucked away in the corner or whatever. Because definitely with the city one, I just have to find the city. There'll be way more than enough materials in any city to get me everything I need. But the pharmacy is a little trickier. Okay, so we're getting the fish. That's fine. Okay. So much seaweed. It's probably one of those things I could afford to use some other plant for it, but we're literally basically taking every plant as fast as it grows and turning into food. And very little is actually becoming what we need. I think I'm just going to go ahead and plan to need even more seaweed right now and just build another 2 places for seaweed. I got the materials. I can afford to put the weight on. We'll just get it done. Okay. With this, we can catch the fish over here. Well, I don't actually want that. So give me the aluminum. And give me the cars. And it looks like I'm going to need a chance to make more of the tools. We ought to sit here and pop down to this. Let's go to the tool maker here. Oh, not here. I need to go to our production manager. So for those hammers, we're using those enough. I'm going to bounce it up to make sure they make it until we have 20. Because the fact I have to keep stopping at places and wait for them to just kind of get those last couple tools knocked out, it'd be better just to let them get the surplus while we're going around. Okay. Yeah, so the hope here is I can get the algae production up to a sufficient quantity that we are regularly making the bio waste, because the bio waste is something I need. It's gonna take a minute. Alright, got the aluminum warehouse sorted. Right, and then we want to get the electricity pylon. And then if we find something we want, we go for it. Otherwise, we just start working our way there. Because as I said a couple times, I'm thinking the way the game works is you've probably noticed we've got kind of this thin path here. But I think the game kind of infinitely expands in one direction. Maybe there is a limit, but I haven't seen it. Doesn't feel like it. And considering like the numbers we're getting up to on these sides here, it feels like if there is a limit, it is generous. Okay, and people are recovering from their diseases slowly. Water's fine. Come on, get the last of that metal out of the car. It might honestly be worth my time to pop over here and make another wharf or two. So I've been lurking the last few days. What are your thoughts of the game? I'm very much enjoying it. I think it's a solid game. I said it yesterday. It does feel like the game that you're not going to do like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 playthroughs or something like that. It feels like a game you might do 1 or 2 playthroughs. And the reason I say that is just there isn't a lot of stuff you do to change the way the game works. There's not like, oh, I can choose this series of policies or that series of policies to create that variation, that replayability. There also isn't random events or anything like that. And I don't see that as a negative. It's just kind of be aware that's like, it probably is a game you play, you finish, you thumbs up, you move on. But like I said, I think that's perfectly fine. I think it's good for the games to work that way. Not every game needs to be a 10,000 hour game or whatever. But what is here is extremely good. And it has, like, very much for playing the game, a very solid pacing. I like the aesthetics. I like the design style. It's interesting that in a lot of these kind of games, your pathing is critical. Like, between, you know, making sure that this building, if its materials used there, that they're close by and all that. This game, it seems far less important, just because the characters can move around pretty quick. So the importance of pathing is a lot more nuanced than, again, when you're playing a lot of games like Banished and all that, you have to be extremely careful, because if they have a long pathing time, it could just absolutely kill you. So I would say in that thing, I wouldn't say it's like a more casual game, because that has a connotation I don't think is really what I'm aiming for. But I will say it is not as sweaty of a survival city builder kind of game. You already grabbed the mushrooms. Go grab the fish. Want to scout this out in hopes that it reveals something we care about. And otherwise we just keep moving down this way. But yeah, and we are at the home stretch. So it looks like a playthrough is somewhere probably in the area of like 20 hours or so. 20, 22, somewhere in that ballpark. Seems like a reasonable playthrough time. Because my assumption is we launch the rocket, she gives us the fusion reactor, and then we have like some closure event. Okay, so I don't need to go diving for a little bit of metal. So we'll just push on up this way and look for like the next place to scan. No, actually I skipped on that. It's fine. It can just stay back there. Alright, cool. This will be perfect. This will be one of the things that we needed. Is I need to go diving in this tower ruin to get the solar panels we need. It's looking like our water is just about to max out. And Eastleigh slowly recovering. Yeah, so we're looking for solar panels in this area. So give me all this. You're not in range. Give me all that. Alright. Yeah, so you just kind of want to dive in there. We need to get probably 2 buildings with solar panels on the roof to get what I need. And that's the big win from in there. We haven't seen a pharmacy in the actual cities yet. But, you know, if we do see one, obviously that is the other thing I need. So we can just beeline for that. Okay, so you've got the car sorted. So we're now back to turn off our water production. So we don't pollute ourselves. And just zip on in here. Oh, 1 second. Plastic electronics. Electronics. How are we doing in electronics? I actually have quite a bit. Not so much that's not worth me continuing to grab them. But quite a bit. Yeah, it's slightly out of range. Okay. What we'll do is after we grab those, we'll probably want to get up here somewhere. Because that'll be a lot of metal, plastic, that kind of things. Okay, and a lot of these people are starting to get exposed to the point I'll probably need to take them off of salvaging. It's fine. Are you ready for reducing the weight on that? Okay, so all those are producing. So hopefully we'll start seeing that rocket fuel happening. If not, I'll build even more seaweed farms. Whatever. Right. So once we get some of these buildings down here, whichever way, like I'm not going to be picky, we're just going to keep zigzagging through here. What I want to find is one of the buildings will be a large building that reveals the area. We want to find that building. Because that'll, again, be the one that shows me the whole area so I could single out the solar panels. Because that's really the only thing I actually need in here. There's just a lot of good materials in here I'm going to grab while we're in the neighborhood. Like, we can get a lot of that plastic to top off our plastic because we're perpetually low on it. Should also be keeping an eye out for seagulls. Because they just passively give me so much material, they're definitely worth grabbing. Yeah, we are slowly burning through our wood furniture, so someday we'll start collecting that again. I think that might be a solar panel roof up there. No, that's a shopping cart. So that's food, we don't really care about that. Okay. So over here we got our first of the solar panel places. So grab those solar panels. Grab more electronics. Plastic furniture. Plastic furniture and electronics. There's one more over here that might have been overlooked. Okay. That's good news. That'll be one of the 2 I need for that. We can keep working on that. How are we doing on water so far? We've only used about 24 water out of our capacity. Eastleigh's getting pretty high up there on the pollution front, but that's just gonna have to kind of tank it. Yeah, so we're making lots of food for the birds and the fish and all that, which is good news. Alright, so still not seeing our seaweed catch up, so I'm going to just lean in on this and go ahead and tell them to go make more seaweed farm. Okay. So we're waiting for those two, and then we'll try going up this way, looking for another solar panel roof. Alright. With that said, how are we doing on here? So you need 6 solar panels. We have 2. I think we might get the 4 we need. So we actually might have only needed 1 solar panel roof. We'll see real fast with that. Okay, it's getting built. Alright, so we got the solar panels we need. So now it's just medicine and basically waiting. And the medicine we won't find in the city, per se. We'll cut through the city real fast, and we'll just see if we can't find any pharmacies nearby. Okay, there's another building done. Those last 2 should get done very momentarily, because we're just grabbing some plastic furniture out of all of them. And we've used about a third of our water now. Come on. I thought that disappeared from out. Okay, come on. Alright, and that should be getting done anytime now, right? There you go. Heat shield. Shuttle's all set for orbital re-entry. Great. Don't want to get extra crispy by the time I land. Okay, literally down to the last one, the submerged city block. More than likely it's going to finish as I turn. If not, I'm not too worried about anything left in it. Okay, that'll do. That'll give me access to a lot of stuff. Because then I'll probably have to get out of here by the time that's all said and done. Alright, so give me the solar panels and all that. Scout the area and give me all those computers. Give me the plastic and computers. Plastic. Computers. Computers. Food and metal. Slightly out of distance from that. Oh, we got a ways to get out of here. Yeah, so we won't queue up anything else for this spot. Okay. We'll just grab what we can here, and then we're gonna beeline it out of here. We do not see any kind of pharmacy over in this area. There is a seagull up here. I'd like to go for the seagull, but I do not see any pharmacies anywhere around us. Yeah, so we gotta try and go out so that we pass the seagull and we grab it on the way by. Okay. Now let's just fast forward, all the way fast forward. And I know there's more electronics we can grab here. I've just already queued up more than I should have. So I'm just trying to give him a chance to grab all that stuff. Alright, and I'm seeing some net positive on the seaweed finally. So hopefully... Yeah, we're starting to see some bio-waste made. Means we'll get the bio-acid, which means we'll start getting the rocket fuel. Oh, right, that's... Yeah, that's fine. So one of the other things to check at is... We don't use bioacid for very much, or bio-waste, so we should be relatively okay with a bunch of that. And how are we doing on people's pollution? It's getting pretty high up there. Visica is getting pretty close to the edge of what's acceptable pollution-wise. Okay, what's left in the grocer? It's just canned goods. We don't care about canned goods anymore. Alright, get out of here. Okay, pause for just a second there. Let's go grab that seagull. There you are. Alright, so we have that all getting pretty low. Let's grab the seagull, and then we're going to get out of here. And this area might have a pharmacy for me. I think that's the right biome, whatever you want to call it. And I want the bio-waste. So please give bio-waste. All right. So I can go here, scout the surrounding area, and give me that. Give me this. Don't care. Give me that. They revealed it, and there is a pharmacy and another seagull up here. There's also a hardware store back here that I missed. Yeah, give me those tools. Oh, I need to turn my water production back on, or we all die. Let's not do that if we can help it. There we go. Yeah, so this is still struggling to get enough bio-waste. And that's struggling because this is struggling to have... So you make the bio-waste. Yeah, so you're still struggling just to get enough biowaste to keep things up and running. That's fine. We're getting plenty of seaweed now, so it is running from time to time. That should definitely get ahead. So I'll grab that stuff. And I don't think I need anything for the art stuff. We just need that pharmacy, and that's just a matter, will the pharmacy give me enough materials for what I need? Or will I have to find a second pharmacy? Alright. Then grab you, give me the plastic furniture. Ignore the trees. Give me the medicine and bio-waste. Give me the seagull and bio-waste. Okay, so what I need is I need the medicine. We did turn off the filter production and all that, so while I would love to get those filters, right now those are a convenience thing, whereas the medical fluid is a requirements thing. So let's see how far that gets us. This will probably be one I just skimp along the edge, hit the smokestack to reveal. Actually, this looks like it might be another... No, that's probably the farming tile. It's fine. Yeah, I could see, say, like, I think we plunk over here real fast. I just get close enough to reveal the area with the smokestack. Alright. Reveal and give me the goodies. Alright. So we just do that. Guess you need the life support and all that. You got 2 of the 4 medicine made. But we do not have any more expired medicine. So I will need another pharmacy. That's fine. I kind of figured it's going to be a 2-pharmacy deal. But yeah, so we're going to try revealing this whole area and see if we can't spot another pharmacy. I think this is just farmland, so I think it is. We're just going to duck around here. The region has been scouted. Okay. I see no difference, but sure. Yeah, so we're starting to properly get a bunch of bioacid queuing up. That's good. It'll take time for that to actually make it. Doesn't even like, is it even producing? You don't look like you're actually producing. Yeah, so I don't think we actually have someone working that. I think a big part is they're getting caught cooking and all that the whole time. That's fine. It's getting all queued up. I'm okay with that for the time being. They'll find time when they find time. As they get these other things maxed out, stuff should become more and more handled. Oh, nope, there it goes. It is actually producing now. Yeah, I think it was just a matter of I had too many things kind of backlogged getting worked on. And the question is... So that's probably being used for a couple of things. Yeah, we probably have the feed for the electric eels is one thing it's going towards, which shouldn't be too much of a problem. I don't think our electric eels are going through feed very fast at all. Yeah, considering both of them have fairly full inventories. Alright. Do I care what's in these buildings? How's our metal looking? I probably should grab it. My luck is the moment I skip out and leave something like aluminum will be the moment I need it. You know, I got the seagulls running around grabbing all the stuff I need. Yeah, so let's check, because we just did a pretty good stint. Yes, that's 8. Yeah, they're both at 8. So we just went kind of sending it for a moment on the engine where that would have been all electric eels the whole time. And even then it's on a positive motion so far as that goes. Did we get any rocket fuel made? We did not. I'm going to say that the oil refinery is high priority now. Which is probably a mistake, but you know, whatever. Okay, and we can pop over here. Grab more metal. Right, because we're basically waiting on that rocket fuel to get produced. And you're grabbing all the seaweed. And that seaweed is all being turned into bio-waste, which is in turn being turned into bioacid. We actually might genuinely need another person. But you do have room for one more person without worrying about a house. But one more person would allow us to keep some of those production lines going. I just had a while there that we just had people standing around half the time because it just didn't have work for them all. So I stopped meaningfully taking people on because there was just no point at that stage. There would just be more people standing around being like, you know, eating food and straining our resources. Yeah, so you're good. You just need the 2 medicine. Oh, if we got the solar stuff up, I can get away with building another solar panel. Or sorry, if we got the thing that needed the solar panel for the rocket, then get away with another solar panel. And that again will be another thing reducing our fuel consumption. All right. Because every little bit will help. All right, so that's more solar power. We can scooch forward in the meantime. Then we'll just keep on looking for another pharmacy, which shouldn't be a big problem. They're rare, but they're not that rare. I keep wanting to zoom out just a little bit more to see a little bit more of my raft, that it pulls up the map, and I wish that isn't how that worked. It's fine. I don't think it's like bad design or anything, but I kind of wish you could like toggle that off and be like, look, man, don't take me out of this. Like, make me push M to pull up the map. Don't make it on the scroll wheel. I just really wish that was an option, because I do it every single time. Okay, so continuing to make that. What do I have the cap for the eel stuff? So the eel stuff is capped at only holding 10 in storage. So it should be fine, because these are both at 8, well, 7 and 8 respectively. And while I don't have any in storage yet, at the rate we're starting to make it, it shouldn't be an issue. And like I said, we can get another person in here to help work on this. Just try cutting this way, see what this biome is. Okay, so let's quickly use the survey point to hopefully find ourselves more goodies. Alright. So it's almost got a backlog as well of other stuff, which will help. Because they only need like 10 of the chemical thing. If we get to the point where I find that other, if I find another pharmacy, not a pharmacy. I didn't find a pharmacy, but we found a bookstore. And in our seagull. It's still pretty good. Alright. Give me the plastic. Give me the whole, like, scanning the whole area. Give me the books. Give me the food and the metal. Don't care about any of it. Give me the seagull and the poop. And the plastic. Alright, then we'll try cutting across to revealing that area. And see, because there's this whole area over here we could have stuff. There's area back here. No, there's also... straight on back from here, there's one more place we could check. Plastic furniture. Okay. At this point, this roster is getting full. So they should be starting to bounce that stuff down here. As long as you just keep on running. It'll also be a thing that as some of these things run out of stuff to produce, we should have people become available, because right now, like, this is producing the last of this aluminum. It'll probably sit here for a minute. Alright, we got ourselves a brand new seagull. So at this point, if I want more seagulls, I gotta build another other places for them. And I definitely, absolutely, without question, want more seagulls. Okay, do you not have a filter at your home? What's going on here? No, you do. It's just probably those things I'm sending you into the garbage too fast for you to recover. Which is fair. Yes, none of those biomes stand out as the one you find it. It's this biome type here that I think is the one we find the, like the little town biome is the one we've been noticing the, pharmacies at. Okay. And we'll pop over here and just have them grab the water from this, because why not? And how are we doing on fish? Okay, so we can actually use... Starting to grab some fish again. Some of the fish, I mean. You know, go for this to reveal more area. All right. So go back here, grab the wheat. Go up here, grab the potatoes. Grab you. Do I need more rotors? I'm still sitting on 5, so he's kind of stopped grabbing those at around 5. All right. Alright, let's check on our stuff. Do I have the other fish? The bigger fish? Yeah, the bigger fish have a cap as well, so they stop trying to make more. Oh, I also didn't... Yes, those are also set to 5. You're all set to only make one of each of these ever, so if I ever goof up and accidentally queue them, I don't want them to stockpile. Alright. So you got that. Okay, so let's check mushrooms. I've got 28, so I could still use more mushrooms. Physica is still pretty badly exposed to pollution. Our inventory is yet again getting full. We are slowly depleting down all the scrap wood, though. Alright. Okay, so region's been scouted. Did it actually reveal much to me? It revealed the neighboring thing there. Yeah, so nothing useful back here. We can't see that region. But I think what we're going to ultimately do is I'm not even going to worry about this other materials. We're just going to keep on moving. Okay, that's another urban area. Right now I just want to kind of scoot on. Just want to see if there's a little area tucked back here. There is not from the looks of it. Yeah, there is not. We're just going to completely bypass and skip this area. Maybe if there's like a solar panel right by the edge, I might grab it. But honestly, otherwise, it's just not a thing I need to advance us. It's more polluted area. All right. So with that, let's get the survey from there. And then grab the survey from here, and that might reveal stuff we're looking for. Because we just need the pharmacy. Literally all I'm missing is two more units of medical fluid. And then literally for the acid to go through. So let's go here, and for right now, I'm going to pause the food production for that. So we start having that acid kick down here to start making our rocket fuel. Because that should get our booster, because I suspect pretty soon we'll be able to get our hands on that pharmacy. Because we can make really good time now, it's just locating a pharmacy, which has been kind of our thing that's been holding us up for the moment. Oh, is that mushrooms right next to the radio tower? Yeah, grab those while you're here. Alright, bear with me, chat. I'm going to quickly use the restroom and I'll be right back, so thank you again for tuning in. I'll be back in just a minute. Alright, and we are back. Sorry, I just wanted to quickly check, see how Toon was doing. She's been pretty sick, so wanted to make sure she was doing alright. Okay, we can pop over here real fast. Yeah, so she's been basically sleeping all day. It happens. Okay. So I've got all that stuff going. Did we actually get the rocket fuel? Because I kept the game on pause, but I did set it back to like normal speed. Honestly, just keep that fast forwarded at this point. The region's been scouted. Okay, so with that, that looks like a... Yeah, so this looks like one of the biomes up here that we see pharmacies in. So that might give us the pharmacy we're looking for. And thank you with the 3 stream streak, Unquiet Adam, and there is the pharmacy we need. So give me that medicine, and that medicine should be everything we need to, get that going. And then we should also pretty soon be able to get this stuff going. Why are you really just not making any progress here? I got you set to 5. We should be making that acid stuff. I did put an end to your production here. There's not another thing here. Yeah, I don't think any of the rest of this is using the bioacid. Am I making some kind of food that's using it? No. Okay, it's getting it now. Okay. Alright, yeah, we actually have some fuel in there. Okay, so with that we now have life support. Life support is complete. You can breathe easy now, Stella. Big fan of breathing. Alright, and that leaves just the rocket fuel, and like we're seeing it come in now. And that's literally just a matter of waiting. In the meantime, we can just go ahead and slide on up here. Maybe we'll get lucky and get a second farm. Well, I mean, we'll get a seagull. I can settle for that too. Okay, don't care about chopping down the trees. Give me the electronics. Give me the food. Give me the plastic. Give me the seagull. Survey the area and the plastic. Plastic and electronics. Then you're already done. And we are maxing out our inventory. Again. Should I be taking the time to not have my greed get me in trouble? Yep. Am I going to? Nope. Nopey, nopey, nope. I am most certainly not going to stop being greedy. Yes, we're just waiting on the booster. That just needs 3 more rocket fuel, which is just depending on the bioacid, which is just depending on the chem lab. So we should have that very soon. We've already scouted the region. Guess genuinely I don't really need a lot more. Oh, we're running out of bird chow. Bird chow is those little guys there. Make that a high priority. Sounds looking pretty good. Yeah, no, we're definitely like right at the end game. I believe we're currently working on the last quest in the game. I believe. I don't know that for a fact. But it definitely feels like we're in that area. So, you know, we're at that point. There's probably not a whole lot more we can do with a bunch of that. How are you doing towards those rocket? Okay, so just need one more rocket fuel. After which we can go ahead and probably turn back on the eel chow. And go from there. Yeah, right now you're working on getting that bird chow sorted. Yes, they're topped off on the bird chow. Okay. Alright, so with this, survey the area. Give me the tools. Don't take the furniture, please. And you're too far away. Give me the potatoes. Give me the tools. There's another seagull up there. Okay, and we have the last thing there, so let's cut the speed back down to normal. You can now go back to producing your eel food, and with that, the booster's there. Oh, it's still being manufactured. Okay, that's fine. And booster. That'll get her up in orbit. No time. Or explode. Preferably not explode. And you doubted me when I said biowaste makes a great accelerant. I really don't want to know how you learned that. All parts bolted, wires crossed, and ready to launch. Wow, to think in a couple hours we'll be face to face and not just over the airwaves. We can't wait to meet you, Stella. Launch. Whoosh! Spaceship in sight. Initiating docket menu. Stella? Hello? Are you there? Docking successful. Still breathing. Floating and safely tucked in the spaceship. Fusion core secured. Initiating return sequence. Counting down. 3, 2, 1. Take off. Look up. The sky is alive. Stella's flying her way home. Captain, the guidance system's gone. I can't steer her anymore. She's flying in blind. I can make it. Manual controls on. Prepare for emergency landing. She's going down. Over the horizon, Stella? Oh no. Over there. I mean, all things considered, without having, like, GPS or any of the meaningful technologies, landing that close to a target from orbit is actually a pretty dang good landing. Like, it's not something you're like, yeah, I can eyeball it. And eyeball it, I'll land pretty close, don't you worry. Hey, Mac Divine, how's it going? I honestly don't care about those materials anymore. There's so many materials that I'm still stopping for. It's like, you know what? I really don't need that. So, like, over here, the only thing I think I'm going to grab is I'm going to grab that seagull. And we're going to grab those tools. And that's it. Those are, like, the only two things that are probably worth grabbing. That saves me a lot of crafting in metal. They should have an easy time hitting the water. I don't know. It looks like she found the one speck of hill there out of the entire area. Where she could probably have landed safely in the water. I mean, probably not safely. Where she could have landed in the water just about anywhere. It looks like she did find, like, the 1% of the ground that is not water. I'm also amused that it keeps repeating that animation every single time I pull up the map. Because we're like, look man, it's important. Actually grab this. This is not a suggestion. You really do want this. Okay. Yeah, and you're all slowly recovering. That's good. Alright. Now I could build even more solar panels. Well, we'll do that in the meantime, because why wouldn't I? Okay. There, in the cockpit, Stella! 9 out of 10 flight, slight hiccup on the landing. Right. Stella, there's no time for jokes. You're hurt. Stay still. Told you I'd make it. To the fusion core. The core's intact, and in better shape than you from the looks of it. But it's buried in the wreckage. It'll take some time to extract. It's gonna take like seconds to extract that. Like literal seconds to extract it. Alright, so that maxes out where we got all our specialists and everything. All our housing is fully utilized now. Still in the fusion core successfully retrieved, Captain. Let's build ourselves a fusion reactor. I'm also very dubious that we built a successful, you know, to and from rocket on a pile of garbage. I am very suspicious of that. So a fusion oh, we have to probably go and research it, don't we? And I believe this will be the last research in the game. So we're just going to go ahead and check the map. In the meantime, I'll go ahead and super fast forward. Right, so we actually want to go over here. So give me all that metal. Let's go grab another one of those. I've got the materials. We can scan the region. Okay, so got a bunch of generators, so we're probably good there. Okay, we got more fish right next to me. Yeah, the small army of seagulls just going back and forth is great. And I believe I saw there's an achievement for getting 10 seagulls. Yeah, we're just basically fast-forwarding until that research is done, because That's a hard bottleneck that I can't really work around. Okay, do we see another seagull with how much we just revealed? There is a seagull up there. And whatever we're doing now, we are murdering our battery. There's also a pharmacy over there, which I want. Because we get the pharmacy as well. We do a lot of good stuff with that. Okay, let's stop there for just a moment. And I will never, ever, ever stop doing that, whether I mean to or not. And there's more fish back here somewhere. Oh, the other one is right next to us. Okay. Yeah, once we get those fish pulled up, we'll be able to go there. Meanwhile, the seagulls are just zipping around, grabbing all the plastic, all the goodies. Oh, I need to stop taking plastic. Hang on. I see our problem. Stop bringing me plastic. Dear goodness, stop bringing me that. Alright, seagulls, I'm gonna need you to tone it down. I did not realize how ridiculously aggressively you were supplying my plastic. Because at some point I went from struggling to have plastic to having 153, like, of the actual produced good from the plastic. So maybe let's not make any more of that if we can help it for a few minutes. And then the same with the wood. I got like 208 wet wood. So I'm just having to bring me seaweed for right now because we're turning that into a lot of materials. Needless to say, the seagulls are apparently putting in work. Making, to a certain degree, a wood a solved problem. People are all getting better. Got some fish back there. Yeah, I think the fish are doing fine too. Make sure all of our kitchens and all that have everything activated. So you're all waiting on tomatoes. You're just doing what you can in the meantime. I mean, actually, from the looks of it, I probably don't want you making the jelly ball things anymore. Alright. And how goes our research? About 3/4 of the way there. Let's scooch on over here. In the meantime, we can go to you. I want just to scout it, nothing more. And give me the medicine. And honestly, the rest of the stuff, I don't really need any of that anymore. Even the electronics I'm pretty solid on. I can probably make yet another solar panel too. And realistically, I'm probably also going to need a little bit more space for the fusion reactor. All right. Alright, so I mean, during the daytime, we have a lot, like a lot of, a lot of power coming in. We've also been getting tons and tons of these batteries. Research all technologies. Cool. So for fusion reactor, I need more Plastech. Let's make sure the Plastech isn't being held up because I have it limited on the amount. I do. So we just need to give that a moment to catch up. And what are you missing to make Plastech? Nothing. You're making it right now. So I basically have everything I need to make the fusion core. And I'm assuming once I get the fusion reactor, then I will start making the whatever field it is we need to protect ourselves from, you know, the elements. And then in theory, we're supposed to have to sail through, like, this endless pollution cloud. Ooh, you big.
Careful, and fusion core secure. Earth's first fusion reactor. Clean energy made with recycled trash. It's beautiful. Now, to construct the ozone shield should be a piece of cake with infinite electricity. I've added a recipe to your advanced whatever the crap that building is. I don't care, man. Just build the thing. Like, we don't need a whole conversation. You know what the hell you're doing at this point. So yeah, so literally, you were just infinite power, I guess. So we need to go to the advanced place here. Those. And I don't know how many of those we need to make. It says 1. Just 1. That's all I need, is just the 1. And we already got the supplies. So you just do your thing. Meanwhile, I guess you can just go over here. Wait, what? Yeah, that's continuing the map on that way. Alright, so we don't want to backtrack. With the fusion reactor, I could literally just send it. Like, we no longer have power as a mechanic, basically. Okay, that's fine. It makes sense. It's a fusion freaking reactor. Alright, so now we need to do that. Are you here? So I need 4 advanced E-electronics. Okay. And what am I missing for E-electronics? I'm missing aluminum. Alright, so we're gonna have to go for one more of these ruins. Looking for some E-electronics. Don't care. Don't care. Alright, so let's take 2 seconds to grab the goodies from here. Yeah, so it's kind of at this point they're like, yeah, you're basically finished, just do what you gotta do. So we're getting more and more stuff that I had to worry about previously and just kind of short-circuiting where I don't have to worry about it. Okay, so only 4 people have their pollution still up. We got a lot of people are leveling. That's fine. And you. So I scoured the region. So the other thing I need to do is go back to... Not you. There. Turn that back on to infinite.
Yeah, we'll not build more from that for the time being. Just turn off those two buildings. We'll probably end up wanting to disassemble those. Honestly, let's disassemble those. These things were ridiculously expensive on parts. And I don't even get the choice of building another rocket right now. So I'm assuming literally we just did what they're for. And now I can just take all that stuff back. And that'll give us a bump up on our advanced circuits of at least 2. I didn't catch how many the launch pad itself used. But that should help. But then we can go in here. So you're in pretty bad shape. We can go to you. Upgrade. Install the respirators. That should get you back in order. Alright, Oh, you know what? If I literally have, like, infinite power now, I probably don't need a lot of these things either. So that'll give me my 2 advanced circuits. Well, 2 of the advanced circuits. Yeah, basically, we'll pull up a bunch of solar panels to instantly get that back. Because my expectation is this fusion reactor literally is infinite power. Because it doesn't give me much information. Oh, no, it says 500 eels constant. Versus my solar panels are 6. My next best is my oil production, which is 50. So it's like 10 of those. So point being, that'll still give me what I need to hopefully get this thing built. And then with that, we should, in theory, be able to just beeline to the continent, which I'm assuming is the end of the game. Now, how many seagulls am I up to? There's the whole thing about rescuing 10. I literally just need a 1. That is it. Let's connect it to the fusion reactor's grid. Captain, look. The ozone shield. It's working. I can finally cross the polluted stream to the continent. Sure, I don't care. So what we're doing right now is I'm just going to zip along looking for one more seagull while we work our way just west, I guess. Got 2 more pharmacies here for more masks. Okay. Maybe I can check your home. You haven't got another respirator. That's fine. Alright. Yeah, I know it says activate. I'm a little worried that when we hit the activate zone, that'll kind of be like the conclusion or whatever. And I did see there was an achievement for getting the 10 seagulls, and I've got 9, so I just want to snag one more seagull real fast. Especially now we have infinite... Well, it's not infinite. It's 500 per second. It's just a hell of a lot of power. Alright. Let's actually wait to make sure that boat gets back to us before I just full send it. Okay, it did get back to us already. Right. It's not infinite power. It's just such a significant volume of power. For all intents and purposes, it's infinite with our use case kind of deal. And even scouting is not really worth my time anymore. Because I could just send the boat and just go for it. Okay, this is the zones we've been finding the seagulls in. This is the one to my north. Nope. I don't really care about the polluted zone right now. Come on, seagull. Just could zoom out more. Okay, we got another zone over here on the right that could be a seagull zone. Come on. There's a really long one of these. Hey, there's the last seagull. Perfect. Alright. So grab the seagull. As soon as we have that and we get the achievement, we'll activate this thing, and I'm suspecting we'll just have to, like, cross something with this barrier going. It'll be, like, purple all around, but we'll be fine. Maybe now we have to endure with, like, whatever supplies we have, like, I don't know if it'll be a grand finale or it'll just roll credits or how it'll work. But, you know. So there's your thing. And your thing. Rescue 10 seagulls. Alright, so slow down time to normal. We pushed the button. Are you sure you want to activate the ozone shield now? There's no going back once you activate. Alright. Alright, let me know when you're ready to head to the continent. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to save. We're going to save as before we push button. That way if it's a thing that, like, once you finish, you can't come back. Do you still have, like, half an unexplored map? So, the way this appears to work to me, Burning Sun, is it seems like it endlessly goes this way. So you've got, like, a narrow map that just goes on forever. I don't know if that's true, but that's the way it feels. That you could just keep playing and building and playing and building indefinitely. But, you know, we've already got all the things. Are you sure you want to activate the ozone shield now? There's no going back. Would you activate? Yes. Ozone shield activate. And they all vaporize instantly. Let's head for the continent, Captain. Go big to go home. Maybe there was a limit to the end of the map? We saved before all that, so I'm just gonna beeline over here. Oh, we can't breathe on this. Bro, looks like a primitive version of the Stargate Atlantis. Alright. Yes, like we've got enough supplies to last pretty much indefinitely. Like I said, I don't really know if there's like a predetermined finite space on the map, like it just generates a certain amount, or when you trigger it. Because I think with a lot of this, what ends up happening is you trigger it,
We crossed the polluted stream. Air's thick with toxins. Visibility dropping fast. Thankfully, the ozone shield is stable. In hindsight, I probably should have turned off water production before we started doing this, but you know, it's probably fine. Stray Fawn Publishing. Okay, so we're zipping along through here, and it's credits. Okay. That's kind of what I figured. So what I've noticed before is when you choose, like, a specialist, it never had me backtrack. It was always ahead. Even through the shield, I could taste the air like microwave flip-flops. And it's chewy. So what my assumption is that it generates stuff ahead of you endlessly and just keeps doing it. Wait, I want to know what these are. Hang on. Oh. Oh, okay. We're stuck on this. I can't leave. I can't go back to my ship. I see. I was wondering, like, I want to explore the things there. The sky is melting. Thick as pale. Sour milk pouring into the ocean. It's mesmerizing. Delicious. Wait, no, what am I saying? Yeah, so we got sound effects people, the music people. This is kind of a fun way of doing the credits. And having, like, their own like, characters there. The writing we've got here. But yeah, so I can't actually do anything with any of these buildings or whatever. I think those plastic bottles are waving at me. Captain, please tell me we're almost there. The madness grows, your crew is tearing each other apart. There's got to be more than that. It wasn't just two people doing writing, one music, one audio. Oh, I see it. And I've always wanted to say, land ho. We got the, I'm assuming, game designers. Maybe game design and dev. We just... That's definitely a caldera. It's a volcanic island. 0% chance it's not a volcanic island with those mountains and the caldera there. Fin. The end, not the fish part. Alright, complete the game, and complete the game without a drifter dying. Cool. That's kind of what I was figuring, is that we were going to launch the rocket, and either that would be the ending, or, like, it would directly lead to the ending. I'm honestly surprised we don't have a custom track here. For, like, all the rest of the music in the game, I mean, maybe the credits are so short, there's not enough time for it. Yeah, no, that's a very small dev team. When you look at that top area was the dev team behind it, and all the stuff down here is just the publisher. Stray Fawn does a lot of fun, like, indie, you know, cozy game kind of stuff. Congregate, you don't... Man, I haven't heard the name Congregate in a while. They used to do, Flash games, was their big thing back in the day. I didn't even realize they were still doing stuff. I'm sure I played a couple of their titles and just blissfully unaware. Yeah, so they had a lot of help with their audio, apparently. And translation. Yeah, no, it's funny, because you look at the top was like the game itself, was like 15 people maybe. And that was like music, audio, like, it didn't specify the people, whether like design or dev or whatever. And almost all these other ones, were like supporting stuff from the publisher. Like they had it, like there was about 8 or 9 people who were marketing. There was like 20 people who were not specified what they were doing for the publisher. We got, apparently the publisher handled QA. They had audio people from the
the publisher side as well. But like, so for the base game itself, the vast majority of it was a very small team with support. Granted, QA is important. And honestly, it makes sense for an indie company to outsource their QA, especially in game dev where that's probably not their main profession. It'd be a lot easier to just jump in there. Oh yeah, that logo, yeah, no, that's the thing. It's like, I guess Congregate's just around. So yeah, so with that, we have officially finished Flotsam. Very genuinely, I kind of stand by the statements I've given with the game that thematically it's Raft, but instead of being a survival crafter, it's a city builder. And I think it does a really good job. It's not one I don't think... I could see, like, doing 2, maybe 3 playthroughs to, like, get your achievements kind of thing. But it's probably not a game that you're going to play time after time after time after time. Because, there's just nothing to, like, deviate and change the style of your play. Like, in some games, like, there's no, like, you could choose these sets of policies or those, or, you know, random events, or the things that are, like, the wild cards that change it up. But I don't think that's a bad thing. But I definitely could see probably realistically doing like 2 to 3 playthroughs of this to get all your achievements. So if we were at about 22 hours for my first playthrough of it, start to finish. Probably, I think a reasonable amount of time to expect to get out of the game would be like 30, 35, maybe 40 pushing it. Again, I haven't looked at the achievement. There could be some long achievements that maybe add some really cool challenges or whatever. But you get the idea. I think you're talking in the 30s of hours. But considering the game right now is like $12 here in the US, that's a big old like nothing burger so far as costs. So I definitely think it does a really good job. It does a way of being different from just not being another survival city builder where you're in, you know, vaguely non-specific colonial medieval times and, you know, rehashing the exact same mechanics again and again that, you know, maybe this nuanced one thing's better. It is truly its own unique thing, which you don't see that much a lot of times. So I definitely enjoy that. Now, what's going to end up happening from here is for those on YouTube, the stream will be coming down because we're going to be switching categories. But what I'm going to be doing is switching over for just a little bit of time. We're going to be checking out the playtest. The developers behind I Am Future, the cozy, you know, survival crafter game, they've announced their new game, and they've got a playtest out of it called Storge. If you ever heard of the game The Repair House, which is where, you know, junk comes in, you know, repair it, get parts, that kind of thing. Similar concept. It's looking like it's going to be a lot more polished, have a little bit of story to it, and it takes place in, like, early 2000s Tokyo. So, you know, you get stuff like Nokia phones and those kind of things. So with that said, again, very happy with Flotsam. I could definitely see, assuming I have the time, this being a game that I burn hours trying to get all the achievements in. Because I didn't notice any obvious achievements that were like, oh, that achievement's going to be truly awful. Most of them seem like they'd be fairly reasonable. Maybe take a little time, a little effort. But with that said, let me go ahead and drop the YouTube side, because I'll have to switch it over to another thing. And we'll check that out. So see you in a couple minutes, YouTube. But on this side, I'm going to go ahead and close this. But yeah, no, I enjoyed that game